Hello and welcome back to Rügsæk solo episode 4. Yes. A lot of things have happened since my last recordings of episode 3. And I've also been on a small holiday to England, to Brighton. My new favorite character, Marcy, died. So we're going to close down her portrait and see how it all fares with Curtis. Marcy and Curtis went down through the secret entrance to the Brotherhood, the Deadeye. Curtis managed to stay alive and kill both the opponents. Let's dig into this. Curtis now all alone with flooding water coming up maybe to around, and remember he's a gnome, so, and we don't know how big this dungeon is. I think I rolled though that I think I made a roll that there's 6 or 5 rooms in here. But anyway, so what I'm thinking is that the water, so much water poured down that is actually sort of making the water level rise in the dungeon now. That means that the rest of the inhabitants of this dungeon must know that there is a leak, and they will probably look for the leak. They know that it's raining, so they could look elsewhere. But since it's not the biggest dungeon, it's actually a vault. We established that in the previous or that episode before that this is a vault. And it's also the vault of the wizard who stole Marcy's voice. That's all we know. And that it's connected to the Brotherhood of the Deadeye. So, okay. I think this is the time to get the hex map up. Not the hex map, sorry, the map of the dungeon. And I removed Marcy's marker since she's now dead. Curtis stands here looking at the yeah, she's underwater, isn't she, Marcy? Because, or maybe actually she's floating because, oh, this is really horrible. The first thing he does is he grabs her body and gets her onto the table. And I should also ask how much, or is the water level rising or dropping? I think I'm going to roll that first. So let me get the dice out. 2 d8s. Yeah, and let's get the Rügsæk rules up so we can all look alongside. So it was a 50-50, and this roll was 3 below. So that's a no. Okay, the water level isn't rising anymore. It has reached a max. Okay, I'm thinking it reaches him to around yeah, right below his head. No, sorry, lower, like to his waist. I'm thinking, but he dragging Marcy up on the table, and also he checks her life signs. He doesn't necessarily instantly know that she died, and he discovered that she is actually dead. And he's really, really sad, and he's also very frustrated with the situation. But he's here now, and he has to do something. He obviously also wants to, because he's so angered and furious right now, that he wants to, yeah, not, I wouldn't say Yeah, maybe more avenge Marcy more than revenge. Um, and see what this is all about. Lost two friends. So yeah, Marcy's up on the table and he is going through, I think, also Marcy's belongings, not to like steal them. I'm thinking also he wants to make sure they are there, and is there something useful that he can use? So I'm going to check Marcy's equipment now. Yeah, she's mainly carrying her two-handed sword and the plate mail and a water skin and 4 rations. I think he's taking the rations and her points. And he, of course, wants to give her a proper burial. Yeah. Sorry, my English. I'm removing the 30 coins from Marcy's equipment and the rations. 2 of them will fit in a stack here. You can have, because they stack up, you can have 2 of the rations, one, and then there's 2 extra rations over here. So, and then the 30, that's 80 coins. 30s. He checks he pulls himself together. He's a afraid little gnome and he says, "What? Oh, those bastards, I'm going to check there. See if they have anything on them I can use against them. Any clues of what this is?" And he reaches for the bodies in the water and makes room for them on the table as well. And he drags them up on the table. So now I'm just rolling. Is there anything on them? Not their weapons. You don't want to have their weapons, or just see if they have any clues onto what this actually is. I'm going to get the dice roller up. I'm going to ask, does the big guard has anything on him? So that's one above. And let's check the one above. Yes. It's a yes, but yeah, I know what it is. Oh yeah. Actually, I've bought some Rory's story cubes. I put them in a little bag, and I want to make use of those also now that I've bought them. I'm just going to roll 2 descriptors. I'm thinking I know the answer to the but I can just roll them. You can't see the roll. I'm going to show you the dice after picking 2 random. And I got, let's see here. I got the question mark and a cane or walking stick. Yes, the but is there was something in his pocket, but the water ruined it. It was maybe a note with some instructions. We don't know because the rain or the water totally ruined it. And now to the walking stick. Interesting. I'm not going to say that it's he found a walking stick because that's ah I have an idea. Think that maybe he has a leg, or he has 2 legs, but one of them is like old wooden leg. Could there be some sort of secret compartment in the wooden leg? I'm just making this up. I know this is this is a bit silly, but let me try that. That is a, I would say that goes for a not very likely. So I'm going to say nope, not a chance, but it's an idea, you know. Probability die of 4 versus a difficulty die of d12. Two above. That's a no but. Oh, there's no secret compartment in the wooden leg. Why would there be? But there is an there is an inscription, or let's try and take a story cube, see what it is, and then roll it. I got I almost didn't dare show it. I got the yes, that's of course a TP. So it's a TP is a, to me at least. I'm abstracting this. It's either a place, a home, it's a house, but it's also uh, I think it's for, you know, it's also a place of spirituality and warmth for me. So if this big god guy has an inscription on his leg, on his wooden leg, I would say that I would go with the spiritual thing and say that the leg is almost like totem. So maybe the leg has magic powers. I wouldn't say that it has. I would say it's not very likely. So I'm going to roll again. So okay, the lowest, that's 2 above. No, it's not magical, but or spiritual faith. But what? But it's showing, but it is showing signs of something um, spiritual. I wonder what the actual sign is. I think I want to roll on the. I'm rolling on the big Grand Oracle table to get some words. I'm not using the star cubes for this. So I'm going to roll percentage die. I've got it in the percentage die instead now, instead of the old big wrecking ball. So 59 is learn. Holy. Oh my god, it fits. 17. Learn the holy command. Oh, so what that tells me is that there is some, yeah, I'm just interpreting it this way, that there is a holy, that it is sort of spiritual, that it must be. There's some sort of command word that initiates some sort of faith, spiritual, um, a prayer, or what, that's what I call it in Rügsæk, some sort of incantation or what have you, some sort of yeah. Hmm. So, but I don't know what that word is. I don't think we got any nearer to a symbol. I'm actually going to take another story cube to say to find the symbol. I don't know. It's, Um, I got a fountain. So I'm getting some ideas for not the command word. I don't know that. I'm getting ideas for the um, symbol. It's kind of this, but it's more like, like a well, a spring well. So it's sort of there's a symbol of a spring well on his wooden leg. So I'm going to add that to his inventory. Going to add a little F down here, plus F I'm writing on the because oopsie, because I'm thinking that this is some sort of faith item. Huh, okay. And he's also checking the little guy, see if he has anything on him. That's a 4 below. That's just a plain no. Okay, okay. So the little guy doesn't have anything on him. Yes, this all took, I'm thinking, a turn. Yeah, this took a turn. That means I have to roll the hazard die. Um, oh, I have to look into those dice, and I think they have different tunes all. Anyways, that's a 6. So that's a I can remember that that's a free turn, but I promised myself that I would show you the rules as I go along. So we have to look into that. Look at the hazard die, and as we can all see here, for dungeon hazards, it's a free turn. That means if I would have used another turn to look at something, I wouldn't have spent the turn, the 10 minutes time. But yeah, what it also does, I don't have to mark off the tracker on my torch tracker. So let's see if I actually tracked that. I think it's only been one turn. So yes, and it was a free turn, so I'm just quickly erasing the X I put down again. Or actually, I'm putting it back because when he initially started the torch, lit the torch, I should mark it off, I think. So let's see. No, that. Um, what does Curtis do? He's got options here. He can oops, either try and listen. Actually, I think he also just puts the corpse of Ymir onto the table. This is getting quite macabre. Um, yeah, okay. I think he checks for sounds at the door to the left. He will do that. Are there any sounds? Does he hear anything on the other side of the door? I guess that's a 50-50. No, actually, let's use his brains for that. So he's a D8. So it's actually 50-50 in a sense. Okay, that's one above. So, um, yes, he hears. I'm thinking this is not a probability die roll. So I was just curious, and I wanted to compare them. So it just he hears something, and I'm going to roll some descriptors for that. old school play that is this sort of action is sort of really abstracted, and this would take kind of like a turn to investigate something. So I'm going to say that actually, and mark off a use on the hold on the torch, and also roll with the hazard die. 3 on the hazard die. Oh, that's got something to do with exploration. So it's either a light source goes out, a magic effect wears off prematurely, or a ration turns bad, or a spell is forgotten. Instead of, I might have an idea here actually. Instead of it's a light source that goes out, I'm just going to say that the torch burns quicker because the interpretation I got of the hazard die here, um, uh, or the rules of them is that it sort of expires prematurely. But I'm actually thinking more and more that that's a bit harsh. So an idea could be that it's just a turn, or it burns faster. So I'm adding another turn on the torch actually. No, you know what? If it was, let's say, on the sixth turn, the torch would have blown out. I'm going to say actually, as a rule now, that it just expires a turn. So putting down an X. Okay, but what does he actually hear? Let's do a funny little combination of the story cubes and one descriptor. That could be fun. Descriptor. So that's 36. And we got guilty. And I also got, let me just see if you can see it. I got the cane or the walking stick again and the comic speech bubble. So actually, I'm going to say that it's got something to do with the command word on the wooden leg. Just how? That's the noise that he hears. But I also rolled as a descriptor. Guilty. What would this mean? Oh yeah, one sec. Let me also actually remove Marcina's portrait. Um, while I'm thinking, doing some small procrastination stuff here. The only thing that in my world that it rhymes with is sort of you're guilty. You There's also punishment. A bit far-fetched maybe, but maybe he can hear the oh dear. This is a guard's room. He was a big guy. Guard. Maybe they are interrogating someone, or maybe he was an interrogator, like a nasty jailer sort of. What do you call that again? There must be a word for that. Maybe I can hear the sounds of not per se a guilty person, but someone whom thought they were guilty of something. And I think this is the torture chamber. I think it's got something to do because I rolled the walking stick or his wooden leg and the command bob or the bubble. Something to do with the interrogator whom Curtis killed. So he's going to see if the door is open and put his head in and look in. There's a table in the gum book for actually that sort of thing. And we haven't, it's a plan check. So plan checks are important when your characters have a plan or take deliberate action, go somewhere or open a door, confront someone, trigger an ambush, or anything that could essentially go wrong. You have 4 levels of tension, which alters the odds. Roll the most fitting column and check how things go. Oh, okay. You can either roll on the safe or the risky or the tense or the exploding plan check. It's not safe. It's either risky or tense. I'm leaning toward tense. So I'm going to roll a D-sided D20. 15. It carries on as you expected. So, okay. That's good, I guess. I expected a torture chamber of sorts. So I am going to roll that, but I'm going to say that it's quite likely. And in my book, it's called, or in Rügsæk, it's called dead sure. So it's a D12 probability die versus a D4. So let's get the dice out. Yes, that's 6 above. That's a yes. It's a torture chamber. Quite certainly it is. Okay, so I heard sounds, and I think it's from a tortured victim in there. Who could that be? Let me roll that, actually. But I actually have thought of 2 character types that I wanted to introduce to a game. And if I ever met an NPC down here, I thought it would be nice to introduce 2 classes. The one being the holy woman or the holy man, in my book called The Holy Woman, and the tattered troubadour. So, because I want to introduce them, I'm going to say that it's one of them. And I'm going to roll that now. 4, 5, 6 is a tattered troubadour. It's a tattered troubadour. Let me see if I can imagine this. It's a torture chamber. I'm thinking that if it's a vault, there's the torture chamber isn't like it's the most it's not like there's 199 different torture instruments. I'm just thinking that it has all the basic torture instruments, you know. So, and what do they have in a basic torture chamber? That's what I'm wondering. But I think our tattered troubadour, our tattered troubadour is in pain, and is it what is their pronouns? 1 and 2. So it's a what did I say? Did I just say he, him? Okay, it's a he, him. He should probably. Oh, he's okay. Curtis walks up to him and says,
Where does it hurt? Are you hurt?
I can't find my gnome voice now.
Where does it hurt? Are you in pain? That was my gnome voice is back. Where are you? Can I help you?
And I think that the troubadour, the tattered troubadour, he sort of there's water in the room, and he sort of wakes up from it. He thought it was his interrogator again, and he just looks over in the corner, and he sort of points at his backpack or his Rügsæk, sits in the room. He wants something from the uh, backpack. Or he can point with a finger, but I think his wrists are in shackles, so he's sort of pointing with his or doing like this on the table. And yeah, Curtis, he got some lockpicking tools. I think he's going to lockpick them first. And the troubadour gets his. No, what I'm thinking is that the troubadour, like Marcy, he doesn't have a voice. I think they removed his voice through torture or magic. That's what I was thinking before. So it's all connected. Maybe they didn't like his singing. maybe, uh, maybe yeah, maybe he hurt the wizard's feelings. He too has his voice removed. Who is that evil wizard? We shall soon find out, I think. But before I close this up, there's some few things I want to do. Yeah, first of all, can um, uh, Curtis unlock his shackles? He doesn't want to look for a key. He just uses his gnome lockpicking tools. And let's look at the rules as well, because I want to get this right again with the making a ability test. Ability tests, yes. And he has an agility of what again? D12. And the locks are not the best, so I'm saying that the difficulty die is no, they're moderate, so it's a D8, isn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a D12 versus a D8. Oh yeah. Also, actually, I made a short little video about combat rules, and I introduced some new ideas that I wanted to let me use them after. I introduced some new ideas where you get to roll the difficulty first before you roll the ability die. That is, if you, for instance, roll uh, a difficulty of 1, you're allowed to roll a lower die to sort of up the stakes of getting a crit. So let's keep that in mind for future rolls from now on. But okay, I beat this. So yes, he opens the locks. Okay, and the troubadour, he sort of rubs his wrists and says, he obviously can't speak, and Curtis is sort of confused, and then he thinks of Marcy, who also had lost her voice, and he's like, Curtis is thinking, what is this? All are losing their voices. What is this? Jesus Christ. I really lost my gnome voice too, didn't I? Oh Lord. But the after the troubadour is released of his restraining shackles, he's not more hurt than he can actually jump quite quickly off the torturing bench and down to the floor and runs over to oh actually he sort of yeah he runs the first thing he does he runs over to this small table in the corner of the room and picks up his loot there and his backpack and then he turns around and then just gives Curtis the biggest hug in the world and Curtis almost gets his loot in the face like oh and yeah and you can hear the ploing of the of the loot because the moisture in the room has made it all like even more detuned than it already was and the troubadour points at his voice and then he points in the direction out of the room and he has this grim look on his face. And this is where we have to end for today because it's taken quite some time. And I will promise I'm going to try and pick up the speed of these videos and also get more content into the videos as I'm learning this. But this is all for today. See you later, folks. Bye bye. Just hi again. I just wanted to. Um, I recorded this after my last recording because I forgot to draw the dimensions of the torture chamber. He walks in through the door. There finds tortured, tattered model.